With the online students, good afternoon. Am I audible to you, Bhuti? Can anyone answer? So I am audible to you on Bhuti?
Good afternoon, madam. Yes, you can audible. We can audible you, but screen not yet share, I guess.
Yes. Still, I have not shared the screen. There are few things to be discussed. Once we discuss them today, I will share the screen. Okay.
Thank you, madam.
Okay, thank you. Udah buka sate kasih dulu. Aduh ini. Anyone, kita kasih kucing dulu tu. I'll be maximum wait till 12:15 today. Now it's 12:11 again. We'll wait for another 4 minutes. Then we'll start by 12:15. Right? So, good afternoon. Before starting the content relevant to today's chapter, right, we have to discuss the lecture time and the mode of the lecture today, right? I know this is not convenient for you, right? When you are physically coming on to lecture from 12 to 3, right? So I can understand the difficulties, totally understandable, right? So then from my end, I can give you like few options. One is, if we consider anyhow, we have to go online sessions as well as physical lectures, right? So, because otherwise I cannot understand whether you all have captured the things that I have delivered. right? So in that case, I just need to have few physical lectures, right? We can do all the lectures online. So we'll see what is the most workable or the most feasible option and the options that we can go for this module. Anyhow, today we have completed session number 1. Now this is session number 2, right? Today also we are doing physically. Last week we have done it as an online session, right? So then today let me discuss the schedule. Are you okay to have lectures weekday evening for the online instead of Sunday, 7:30 to 9:30 or something like that? Then whole Sunday is free for you. Online sessions වලට ආවා. Physical නෙමෙයි physical වෙනවා නම් පුතේ එන්න වෙනවා. ඒතකොට මම ඒක 8:11 ගන්න වෙන විදියට සශිනිකා මිසුත් එක්ක කතා කරලා හදලා දෙන්නම්. මුල් සති 4 හරි එහෙම weekday evening එකක් එක are you all okay? Yes, පුතේ.
But there are some facility practical.
So they are from 19B exemption, sorry, 18B exemption. So can I find any student from 18B exemption for this? Sorry, 18C exemption. You are from 18C exemption for this. How many of you are joining online? I mean, how many of students are in overseas? Yeah, around 10. Then there will be an issue with it. They are from different countries. Even if we consider UAE, right? There's average of 3 hours and 30 minutes. 2 hours, 30 minutes again. Then we'll do like this today. Sundays, if you are going with Sundays today, if it is kind of an online session, right? Then you all are okay with any time, then no problem. So then we'll fix to Sundays for the online sessions. When you all are coming physically, but then I need to have physical sessions. Then I'll discuss with the registration department, Ms. Shashinika, and I will schedule the lectures from 8 to 11 when you all are coming physical, right? So here, Bute, now 9th of May, we are physically. Then today, take a calendar, open your mobile phone calendar, but I mean the calendar in the phone. So the next week is 17th. Then shall we schedule the lecture from 3:30 to 5:30? When it comes to online session, but I don't like to go for 3 hours, right? So it's 2 hours, right? Then 17th, 3:30 to 5:30. I have lectures from 8 to 11. Sunday. Yes, what is the issue? We got to do another Sunday. You all have to like keep Sunday free with it, right? So I'm changing only the mode, right? So in that case, with it, then we'll schedule. Write down this, especially this is for the coordinators. Write down today. 17th of May, right? It's a Sunday. The lecture is from 3:30 to 5:30, right? Right, okay. Then again, we have lectures on 24th. Next Sunday is 24th. So then again, 3:30 to 5:30 online. 24. Then you don't have lectures on 30th and 29th and 30th, right? Brother Vesa. That's a holiday today. I don't think so. There will be lectures on that weekend, right? According to the academic calendar, also, there are no lectures on 29th and 30th. Right?
On the 24th, 3:30 to 5:30 online.
Yes, 24, Sunday, 3:30 to 5:30. Right? Then again today, 1st of July. Then. June. Yes. Then again for the online 3:30 to 5:30, still 2 hours. And your days. Then 7th to the 7th. Okay, the 29th you don't have lectures, right? Weekend again, it was every getting June first week, 7th. Then for the 14th also, we will go with same schedule, right? Sunday, 2 hours, 3:30 to 5:30. Then for the 21st onwards, right? The thing is for this module for today, I don't need to take 15 weeks. Initially also I have highlighted that this is 2 credits module, then maximum like we will go for 10 weeks, right? 8 weeks to cover the content and 2 weeks for the presentation, right? Because here we have different intakes, different batches. So then we have more groups with it. Then within 1 day we cannot complete. So we have to go for 2 weeks. So then everything will be finished within 10 weeks, right? Then for the 21st of June 2026, we have to go for a physical lecture. It's from 8 to 12. Online, right? And the content cover right? Online 3 hours karna kya nahi, it's not practical with it. It's like really hard to maintain your concentration, right? So in that case, online it's 2 hours. When it comes to the physical lectures, 4 hours, 8 to 12. Then 28th of June, 8 to 12 physical. 21st, yes, for that. 21st also, 8 to 12 physical, then again 28th. Right? Then for that, from that week, we are completing the syllabus. Then we are, here for we have only 6 chapters to be covered. So we can complete within 8 weeks. Then we have to allocate the remaining 2 weeks for the presentations. Right? We'll discuss the group formation and how we are going to do the presentation by next week, right? So then, 5th of July, right? Again, it's from 8 to 12, physical session. I'm going to take presentations, right? Then, the last session, 12th of July, again, 8 to 12, 4 hours, physical lecture, presentation, right? 5th of July and 12th of July. Are you okay with this schedule, Bhutel? Right? Now it's like, fine for everyone, yes. Please share the schedule to the groups with it, then everyone will get aware of this, right? So yeah, it seems no problem, but we'll go with the schedule, right? So the online students, hope you all got the points that I have explained. I mean, I didn't explain anything. I have discussed about the schedule for the upcoming sessions because I can understand today we have scheduled a physical lecture, so they have to come physically. So it's from 12 to 3. Then I can understand the traveling cost, traveling time, everything. So based on that, I have discussed the schedule with them. They will share the schedule to the group. Okay. So good to know that some students are going through overseas. So I have accommodated everything for them. Basically, be silent. So here, like if we consider next week, it will be an online session from 3:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Then again, we are meeting on 24th of May. Then it's also a 2 hours lecture, 3:30 to 5:30, an online session. Then 7th of June, right? Because you don't have lectures in last week of May. Then today, 7th of June, same schedule, 3:30 to 5:30, 2 hours online. Then 14th of June, again 3:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m., 2 hours online. Then 21st onwards, we are starting physical lectures. 21st of June 2026, there will be a physical lecture from 8 to 12. Then again 28th of June 2026, 8 to 12, 4 hours physical lecture. Then I'm allocating last 2 weeks. That means July 5th and July 12th for the presentations. When it comes to presentations today, it will be definitely a physical session. So there are like excuses for the overseas students. Others definitely should participate physically, right? Okay, but that is the schedule for the upcoming sessions. If you have any concerns with it, directly you all can contact me, right? Or you all can convey the message to coordinators. So then they will communicate with me, right? Okay. Okay, Pute. So last week we have started chapter number 1, Pute. Okay. So there we have discussed the basic things related to leadership, right? The title was title is assertive, becoming assertive or the forceful. We have not discussed anything related to becoming assertive or the forceful. Right? Still, we have not discussed anything regarding assertiveness. Right? So, when it comes to last week, I'm doing a quick refresh session. Otherwise, you all cannot capture where are you, in the sense like you all cannot understand what are the things I'm discussing today. So rather directly enter into the assertiveness, I will clear the areas that I have discussed during last session. There we have discussed what is leadership, right? And who is a leader? How we have defined leadership with it? What is leadership? What is leadership? How you all have defined leadership? How we have defined leadership? Very good, Pute. Right. You have covered one main part of the definition. Good. So it is the process of providing direction or the guidance. And you need to highlight this term for the influencing others to achieve an objective, right? So leadership, we can very smart way with it, we can directly explain leadership is the process of providing direction or the guidance and influencing others to achieve an objective, right? When it comes to a leader, definitely influential power should be with them, right? They need to have the ability to influence others, right? So that's why if you also have a dream to become a successful leader in your professional life, so now it's a high time to develop your ability to influence others, right? So then we have discussed about skills required for a successful leader, right? So I have highlighted leadership is right. When it comes to leadership skill, it's not just one skill, it's a combination of different skills, right? It's a combination of different skills. It's not just a one skill, right? Then we have discussed about leadership theories. Am I right with it? So then under leadership theories, we have discussed 3 main theories related to leadership, right? There we have discussed about trait approach, then behavioral approach, and finally we have discussed situational or the contingency approach. Did I discuss situational approach today? Yes or no? Discuss, right? Right, okay. Clear it. So then in first approach with it, in third approach, we have discussed about the characteristic or the traits related to a successful leader. අත්‍යත් දෙක බෑ ඉතින් එක්කෙනා දෙන්න එනකොට හැමෝම ඒගොල්ලෝ දිහා බලන්න. mindfulness තියනවා උපරිමයෙන්. Right, okay. So here පුතේ මේ first sit and settle, otherwise I cannot take their attention. Right, okay. So if we consider the first approach, straight approach with it, yeah, what we have discussed, can you remember, I mean like what we have discussed under trait approach? Very good. Personal characteristics or the traits that we expect from a successful leader. Right? If a person wants to become a successful leader, they have to maintain, he or she has to maintain those traits or the characteristics in their lives. Right? So then we have discussed about behavioral approach. Right? In behavioral approach, we have discussed mainly two types of behaviors of leaders, people-oriented leaders and the task-oriented leaders. Right? People-oriented leadership in the sense with it, those leaders pay more attention for the requirements of their subordinates. Right? People-oriented. Always prioritize the requirements of their subordinates. Right? People-oriented. Then if we consider the next approach or the second approach, that is called task-oriented approach. From the term also, you can understand something. It gives an indication. Right? Task-oriented. They focused on tasks. They prioritize activities, tasks, deadlines, targets, right? So practically, when we analyze the organizational context, you can find these two types of leaders, right? Different behaviors, right? Then in last theory or the last approach, leadership approach, we have discussed about different leadership styles that leaders can use based on the situations. There we have highlighted today. When it comes to the, what you call different situations of subordinates, different development levels of subordinates, leaders have to change their leadership styles, right? So if we consider leaders with it, they cannot apply one leadership style for all the subordinates. Right? They can apply, but if they want to take the high level of productivity from them for them, they need to customize the leadership style. Then when we are analyzing how they can customize their leadership style, it's based on their development level with it. First, leaders have to focus on different development levels of their subordinates. They are into different development levels with it. Some subordinates are like capability-wise, they are really high with it. They have the ability to understand the the scope of the task. So they have the knowledge as well as they have the willingness to do the task also. අපි අතර එහෙමයි company එකක් ගත්තොත් organization එකක් ගත්තොත් ඒ organization එක ඇතුළේ නම් there are some subordinates with it. Their capability, that means knowledge, attitudes as well as other skills with it, like up to the required level. Same time, they have the willingness to do the task also. They try to initiate different things and they try to continue with them, right? So then if leaders have such subordinates, right, without any problem, the leaders can delegate their tasks to subordinates. Like capability willingness. Therefore, no problem. Leaders can delegate their tasks to subordinates. That means that they can apply delegating style. In that way, we have discussed different leadership styles that leaders can apply to lead different employees who are in different development levels, right? So that is called contingency or the situational. Contingency or the situational approach, right? Okay. Now we have to cover Before I come into assertiveness, you all cannot see me. If we consider this chapter today, right? The main part of this chapter is assertiveness, right? It can be an unfamiliar term for some of you today, right? Because it's not a kind of a common term that we use in our day-to-day vocabulary, right? So it can be an unfamiliar term for some of you. We'll discuss it, right? So that is the main part of today's chapter, right? But before I moving on to discuss this assertiveness, there are like few things to be discussed with it, few things to be discussed in the sense. When you go through the slides, you can find I have included some areas related to leadership types, right? There's something called charismatic leadership, right? After the leadership theories, you can find this with it. Charismatic leadership, then transformational leadership, then there's something called transactional leadership, right? Then what else? Interactive leadership, and finally, I guess there's something called contemporary leadership, right? Here today, if we consider charismatic leadership, transformational, transactional, right? Those are different leadership types, right? Now, don't get confused with different terms of the leadership skills, leadership theories, leadership styles, right? If we consider delegating, directing, right? So coaching, supporting, those are leadership styles today, right? Under the what you call contingency or the situational approach, but we have discussed some leadership styles. Delegating here, then we have discussed something as coaching, supporting, right? So those are leadership styles. Here, we discuss something called leadership types, right? Charismatic leadership. One great example for this charismatic leadership is with the Mahatma Gandhi Duma, right? All of you know it. So, if a person is showing this charismatic leadership, that means whether that particular person has a great or a kind of a significant ability to inspire others. Anit අයව inspire කරන්න මාර හැකියාවක් තියෙනවා charismatic leaders වල. Right? So they have a vision, right? As well as they have a kind of a great ability to influence others, inspire others. Right? If we consider Mahatma Gandhi, if we consider the what you call the appearance and the personality, right? If we consider the term personality, it's really broad. It's not just this appearance, but still, like generally, if we consider that type of person, we don't think that type of a person can influence others in a great way here. But that particular person influenced great number of followers for a common vision, right? If කවුරු හරි පුද්ගලයෙක් charismatic leader කෙනෙක් නම්, right? So he or she has the ability to inspire others, right? Then for these things, like I will provide you short descriptions. Maximum in the examination today, under the short descriptions, right? There's a question like usually when it comes to this format, when it comes to the 18A BTS students, you all are familiar with the format today, right? So in skills in leadership and innovation also there will be two sections. In section A, there will be only one question, that is compulsory question. It is from a case study, right? Then when it comes to the section B, there will be 6 questions, right? Out of the 6 questions, you all have to provide answers only for 4 questions. That's selection, right? So if we consider the last question, question number 7, there you all have to provide short descriptions. I'm giving you some titles, right? Then you all have to provide short descriptions, right? So in question number 7, sometimes I may include charismatic leadership, transformational leadership, title then you all need to provide short description for those leadership types. That's it, right? Otherwise, there won't be a kind of a significant mark assigned question from these leadership types, right? Okay, that is about charismatic leadership. Then let me show you the slides. Then you know where, I mean, like, what are the areas that we are discussing. Right, okay. Then for that, the second leadership type is transformational leadership. Right, there's no any order, but according to your slides, you can find transformational leadership as the next one. Right? From the term again, you can understand something. It's transformational, right? Imagine for that. In order to become a transformational leader, that particular person definitely should transform one situation to another situation, right? Imagine like as a manager, right? So HOD of one of the departments of a well-established organization. Then for that, maybe so currently the organization is incurring losses, right? If we consider the past 5 years, okay, continuously incurring losses. Okay, so if we consider the market share also, it's like gradually declining, right? So they are in a kind of unfavorable situation. Okay, so now for that, they have like identified this situation, and top management of the organization decided to give a responsibility to one of their HODs to transform the situation. Like they have given the responsibility to head of the marketing department, right? So, like top management provides the support for that particular leader, but the responsibility is with that person. Then for there, after 2 years' time, now the company is experiencing profits, right? With the leadership of that HOD of marketing department, now company is experiencing profits. Losses incur කරපු company එක අවුරුදු දෙකකට පස්සේ marketing department department head leadership එක යටතේ now they can earn profits, right? That particular person transform the organization from situation A to situation B. Situation A is incurring losses, situation B is earning profits, right? Transformational leader. මොකක් හරි විදියකට company එක හෝ situation එකක් හරි community එකක් හරි they have to transform, right? Then there's something called transactional, right? The third leadership type, okay? Let me show you the slides. I will like to quickly go through these things with it because we need to focus more on the assertiveness. That is the core of the chapter. Yes. It's transactional, right? Here also with it, from the term, you can understand something. Not like transformational, this is transactional. These types of leaders with it always focus on short term, right? Not the long term. They try to take the maximum productivity from their subordinates, right? When their subordinates are achieving targets, leaders are giving rewards for them. Transaction එක. Productivity එක දෙනවා company එකට subordinates ලා. එතකොට එතනදී leaders ලා ඒ වෙනුවෙන් rewards දෙනවා. Right? It's kind of a transaction. Right? That's why it's transactional leadership. Those leaders focus on short-term targets with it, right? Increasing the productivity of their subordinates, right? When they achieve the targets, when their subordinates are achieving targets, then they give the rewards, right? For the inputs, they are giving out, right? Inputs දෙනවා company එකට employees ටික productivity එක වැඩි කරලා managers leaders even rewards ටික දෙනවා, right? Same time they are providing the direction to enhance the productivity as well. Okay, that is called transaction. So now we are coming to the last two types with it. Then there's something called interactive leadership. මේ හැම එකකම පුතේ වචනෙන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ පොඩි ඉන්ඩිකේෂන් එකක් දෙනවා. Interactive. If a leader is showing this interactive leadership type, that means that particular leader is closely interacting with his or her subordinates. හරි සමීපව වැඩ කරනවා, right? So try to maintain strong relationship between their subordinates, right? Prioritizing the requirements of their subordinates. When he or she makes decision, always try to take the inputs from their subordinates, right? Interactive. Okay, so that is called interactive leadership type. Okay, then if we consider the final leadership type, that is contemporary leadership type. Contemporary, from the term today, you can understand it's not permanent. Contemporary leadership. Let me take an example and explain this. Right, okay. There's an organization today. Currently, they manufacture soaps. Right? If we consider their product portfolio, we can find soaps. Right? Then, so they have, based on their strategic plans, now they want to expand their product portfolio. So now they are trying to add another product to their product portfolio. Right? The thing is, the product also a totally different or a kind of a unique product. So now they're trying to introduce a perfume. Right? A perfume to the market. It's a new product, right? So once they finalize this, imagine they are going to appoint a new manager or a leader from the outside to lead this new product development project. Right? Currently, they have experts in relation to soap manufacturing. Right? So the leadership is strong for that. So they have very strong leadership to lead that particular, what you call the product. But now they need to add a new product to their product portfolio. So now they need to introduce a new perfume. Right? So then, in order to lead this new product development process, they take or they appoint a new leader from outside. Right? Only to lead that new product development project. Contemporary leadership. If we introduce the leader company work right? So kind of like taking consultation for them. Right? So contemporary. Okay, it's not permanent leadership. Right? To address one situation, right? Contemporary, they appoint another leader to lead those situations. Right? Okay. Right, okay, Pudhe. Those are the 5 types of leadership, right? So you don't need to worry. I mean, like, you don't need to have lengthy explanation for these 5 types with it. As I mentioned, maximum possible question from these types of leadership is, I may expect to like put some distinctions on these titles. Sometimes I may give charismatic leadership and you need to provide a short description. I may give you like transformational leadership versus transactional leadership. Right? Then you all should be able to write a small description for each title. Maximum leadership times right? Okay. Now we are moving on to discuss the core of the chapter. Now only we are starting the chapter today. Like I have used to give you an understanding about leadership. Right? Okay. Do you have any idea about assertiveness with it? Assertiveness, aggressive, assertive, passive. Do you have any idea about assertiveness with it? Isn't it? That's it. Everything. I mean, you are like so close to the answer, but yes, very good.
Okay.
Without becoming good, I like to be yes. Good. So more or less, like you have given the correct answer. Yes, you have the idea. So in organizations, would they? Now most of you all are working with it. You all have experiences with different leaders and different managers, right? There are some managers, okay? So some managers are aggressive, right? Same time, there are some managers with it, they are in, I mean, if we consider the hierarchy of organizations, they are in highest positions, right? But still with it, they are passive, right? Aggressive, passive. Aggressive, I don't need to explain, you know what is meant by aggressive, right? But sometimes you always struggle to figure out what is being passive. Passive in the sense with it, they have great ideas, right? But they don't openly and confidently express their opinions with it. මාර වටින අදහස් දෙනෝනේ මාර ටැලන්ට් එකක් හැබැයි මේ මනුස්සය ඔළුවේ තියෙන දේවල් and confidently forum එකක දෙන්නේ. That particular person is not expressing with it, right? So he or she doesn't have the confidence to express his or her opinions confidently. Sorry, he or she doesn't have the confidence to express their opinions in a kind of a open forum or in public, right? Then, if we consider assertive Buddha, right, that means those people express their opinions, ideas, their thoughts confidently, right, and openly while respecting to others' opinions, right? The aggressive, assertive, passive, right? If we consider aggressive with it, you know their behavior, their communication style, right? Confrontational, right? Very direct. So you know their behavior. If we consider passive person with it, so her like communication style is non-confrontational, සහ හරි indirect, direct කතා කරන්නේ නැහැ, තව කෙනෙක් හරහා එයාගේ අදහස දෙන්න යනවා, right? So then assertive in the sense, right? This is the communication style that leaders have to develop, right? Assertive in the sense, so those people confidently and openly expressing their opinions, their thoughts, their ideas. Importantly, this point is really important while respecting to others' opinions. අනිත් අය කියනවා අහුම්කම් දෙන්නේ නැහැ. කෙලින්ම reject කරන්නේ නැහැ. අහුම්කම් දෙන්නේ නැත්තේ නැහැ. අහුම්කම් දෙනවා. Actively listening to others, right? Respecting to others' point of views, but still with it, if she or he has an opinion regarding something, very confidently express it to the forum or a community or whatever for the target audience, right? So it's better to write down the subtopic with it. Write down this becoming assertive or the forceful. I guess you all have written it because the chapter name is becoming assertive and forceful. So in that case, write down the subtopic assertiveness. Assertiveness. Write down with it. It is the ability to. It is the ability to confidently and openly express own තමන්ගේ කියන එක own thoughts opinions and ideas while respecting to others' opinions. While respecting to others, අනිත් අයගේ කියන එක others' opinions. Right? Do you believe, now we are discussing about leaders, right? So then, definitely one day you all also will become leaders here. Sometimes already there can be some managers, right, who are leading some functional departments, right? So do you believe like, if we consider this characteristic, is this useful for the leaders? Useful or not for them? Definitely for them. If you have a dream to become a leader, right, you need to right, if you have a dream to become a successful leader, definitely you need to be an assertive person, right? If you are a passive person, imagine so you have, I mean, like talents wise, you are a great person, very talented, right? Talented. Skills, knowledge, attitude wise, super. But still if you are not expressing your thoughts, opinions confidently, then how others can calculate? Right? ඔයාගේ අදහස් වගේ ඔළුවේම තිබුණා. තව කෙනෙක් එක තේරුම් ගන්න බෑනේ. Right? So then the thing is, when it comes to us, like there are different personalities, right? So some of us are introverts, right? Some of us are extroverts. There is something called ambiverts also. Right? You know the meaning of these introverts, extroverts, and ambiverts. Do you know your personality? Tell me, like, do you know your personality? Whether you are an introvert or an extrovert or an ambivert? You have an idea regarding your personality? Yes. Okay. Let me show you the characteristics of these three personalities. Then you have to like figure out you are into which personality. Okay. So see the main, like these are few characteristics for them. Just go through and see whether you all are into which personality. Introvert, enjoy spending time with others, is outgoing, prefers to work on teams, likes to talk things out with others. Ambivert, enjoys others but needs a long time, can be outgoing in the right context, can be on team after working independently, can process out loud or internally. When it comes to the introvert, the opposite of the extrovert would be enjoy spending time alone, is reserved, not outgoing, prefers to work independently and likes to process internally. Right? I will give you 1 minute. Try to figure out your personality, whether you are an introvert, extrovert, or an ambivert. Yes, Uday. Now stop talking. Yes. What do you think, Uday? Whether you are an introvert, extrovert, or an ambivert? Please listen to this. See the answer that I'm getting from you, right? Ambivert, extrovert, ambivert, and extrovert. Yes, with it. Ambivert. Ambivert. Yes, with it. Ambivert. Extrovert. Always extrovert. So nothing to be. Yes, with it. Ambivert. Point ambivert, okay. Yes, Bena. Bena is introvert. Introvert. Okay. Yes, introvert. So see, Kamisha is steady. Pay attention, please. Kamisha is steady. She is introvert. Yes, you all have perceived her, right? Sometimes you all may have perceived her as an extrovert, right? That is our perception. This is a personal analysis, right? That is a personal analysis. What she's telling me, she is introvert. That can be happen to this. Right? Okay. Yes, Uday? Ambivert, okay. Extrovert. Introvert. Yeah, what about that? Ambivert. Ambivert. Uday, yes? Extrovert. Introvert, okay. Ambivert. Yes, Uday, Roshina? Ambivert. Extrovert. Yes, Mr. Pranit. Ambivert. Some ඔයගොල්ලෝගේ නම් ටික මම දන්නේ නැහැ පුතේ. සමහර yes. Ambivert. Extrovert. Yes, extrovert. Okay. Extrovert. Extrovert. Ambivert. Ambivert and do you know what is I have asked them to figure out whether they are into introvert, extrovert, or the ambivert with the personality type. So what you are telling is you are an ambivert, right? Okay. Now there's a reason for them I have asked that. Right? If you are an extrovert, right? Then it is little bit easy to be an assertive person with it. Like, according to my perception and my understanding, if the person is an extrovert, right? So it's somewhat easy to be an assertive person, right? But if the person is an introvert person, right? There can be some situations they struggle to become an assertive person, right? The thing is, we cannot change our personality. Up to some level, we can change our personality, but it's really difficult to change our personality. Then once we understand the requirement and the basically real requirement in this corporate context that is okay. So you can be an introvert person, but take necessary actions to make your personality or your communication style into assertiveness. ඔයාගේ personality change කරන්න බැරි වෙන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි තේරුම් ගන්න මට assertiveness වෙන්න චුට්ටක් අමාරුයි. හැබැයි මම වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ නිසා personality එක change නොකර ඔයාගේ communication style එක try to change පුතේ. Right? Believe me පුතේ, if you want to become a successful leader, you need to have this assertiveness. Right? Otherwise, there can be like some instances, some situations you all have to struggle. Right? Okay, let me show you the characteristics of this assertive communication. Read this slide. So if you use this assertiveness, right, then you need to have very clear communication method, right? You need to communicate clearly. You need to have a self-respect. Then you need to have good level of self-confidence. Then you need to have the ability to say no. This is what they're very important, right? When you are working in the work organizations, right? You need to understand the limits, right? Like try to understand the limits. Okay. So then, as well as like if you feel that you cannot accept it, definitely like why you can like directly say no, right? But when you are saying no, right, there should be a proper rationalization. Right? When you are saying no for something, you need to rationalize it with it. Why you are saying no? Right? Now, out of this list, these are the characteristics of an assertive person. Write down any 5 points which you feel easy to recall. Right? For the examination can be tested. These are the 5, I mean, like some characteristics of an assertive person. Right? So read the list and write down 5 points which you feel easy to recall. Characteristic of an assertive person. Don't write down the first 5 right? First read the list. And then write down any 5 points which you feel easy to recall. If you want to become an assertive person, you need to have the confidence also to use I statements. Without the confident unama, where I statements otherwise you try to use we, right? Any 5 characteristics which you feel easy to recall. Right, okay. Right, okay. Now pay your attention to this. Pay your attention. So here, when we are encouraging something with it, when we are promoting something, then there should be some benefits and advantages. Otherwise, we don't need to encourage or promote it. So what we are saying is, if you want to become, if a person wants to become a successful leader, he or she has to maintain this assertiveness. That means we are encouraging this in the leadership process, right? Then for the same time, there should be some benefits, advantages associated with this assertiveness. So here for the, you can find some benefits of assertiveness. First read, I have a question to ask. Read the list. Improve communication. Then enhance self-esteem. Self-esteem in the sense that when it comes to ourselves, we have a belief regarding our abilities. අපිට අපි ගැන තියෙන විශ්වාසය, අපේ abilities ගැන අපිට තියෙන විශ්වාසය, right? So then better relationships to reduce stress and anxiety to increase respect from others, enhance decision making, effective leadership skills, greater emotional regulations, right? Can you agree with these points, Pute? Can we expect these things from an assertive person? Right? I mean, like, can we expect these things from the assertive person in the sense with the right? What I'm asking is, if a person is an assertive person, he or she can gain these benefits with him. Right? Okay, write down this question. Write down this with it. Discuss. This is coming under benefits of assertiveness, right? Discuss 5 benefits of becoming assertive. Discuss 5 benefits of becoming assertive. So then imagine for that this type of a question is in the examination paper, right? So this is a very direct question. You all also feel easy to answer, right? The thing is for that, you all will write down that. You all will probably write enhance communication, then improve self-esteem, right? In that way, you all will write with it. In most of the cases, what you all are doing with it, you all are just explaining them with it. What is meant by enhanced communication, right? What is meant by improved self-esteem? That is not sufficient, right? You all have to explain how assertiveness, right, deliver this so-called benefits, right? How an assertive person can achieve these things with it. එහෙම නැතු එතන ඔයගොල්ලෝ පැහැදිලි කරනවා නම් enhanced communication කියන්නේ මොකක්ද කියන එක? If I'm allocating 2 marks for 1 point per day, imagine the total mark allocation is 10 marks, right? Then for 1 point or 1 benefit, I'm giving you 2 marks, 2 into 5, 10, right? So if you are like just explaining what is enhanced communication, right? Without explaining how this arise based on becoming assertive today, you all will get only 1 mark, right? ඒක මම දෙන්නේ point එක ලිව්වට enhanced communication කියලා ලිව්වට දෙන්න. ඔයගොල්ලෝ පැහැදිලි කරන්නේ නැත්නම් assertiveness එක කොහොමද communication එක enhance කරන්නේ කියන එක you cannot get the total mark. Right? Am I communicating with it? So because what I'm asking is discuss benefits of becoming assertive. Right? Then if we are just explaining the benefits without linking them to the assertiveness, then you all cannot assure the total mark. You all cannot assure total mark. And if you want to take or gain 10 out of 10 for this type of equation, right? You need to link the benefits with the assertiveness also. You need to show how assertive people or assertive communication deliver these benefits. Right? For an example, we'll take better relationships, right? So if you are like just explaining what is meant by better relationship, then you all can have only 1 mark, right? You all have to nicely explain to them how assertiveness, right? For an example, you can say, so when a person is assertive, could you pay attention? You can explain, right? When a person is an assertive person, that particular person respects to the other's point of view, right? When the person is showing respect for others, right? It's a kind of a favorable factor towards building better relationships. So I කියන එක තියෙන්න ඕනේ පුතේ. Right? Assertiveness එකෙන් කොහොමද මේක ඇති වෙන්නේ කියන එක. Assertive පුද්ගලයා නිතරම තව කෙනෙක්ගේ අදහසට ගරු කරනවා. එතකොට මේ පුද්ගලයා තුළ ඒ කෙනා ගැන ඇති වෙන positive perception. Then it leads to build a positive or a kind of a better relationship. That explanation should be there in the answer. Right? Okay. From this list also, quickly write down 5 points for the examination. There's a high possibility of checking benefits of assertiveness. Same thing, when you are writing points, always write the points which you feel easy to recall. No, you don't need to write down an answer. Like I just wanted to give you a kind of an understanding about the examination patient. That's it. Formation things later.
Right, otherwise.
Right, okay. Can I move on to the next? I will give you 1 minute. First finish writing. Dedim bahane veriyor. Check what you have to. You just come up with the examination and be tested. Finish with it. Okay. So here there are small things like this is a small activity, right? Pay your attention to that. So here I have listed or I have identified 5 characteristics, right? Communication style, emotional expression, self-advocacy, respect for others, conflict resolution, right? So then I have included 2 columns, passive behavior, aggressive behavior, and you need to list down characteristics related to an assertive personhood, assertive behavior. That means, so this side we can find 5 characteristics. Then 1 column is for the passive behavior, then aggressive, and include a 3rd column or a 4th column to discuss the characteristics of an assertive person or assertive behavior, right? Do this with what I'm telling you is draw a small table. I can find the duster. Duster can anything. What is this? So now I'm looking for the duster, so they just like doing a job. Right, okay. So here's the thing. Girls like out of my tissues, then I have to, yes, okay. Here put it, have a 4-column table, right? Have a 4-column table and write down the characteristics, and for the passive behavior and aggressive behavior, you can find the characteristics from the slide itself and include a 4th. Thank you, Vivek. I have to use, sorry, but I have to use open book, otherwise online student cannot see it. So thank you for the tissue, but sorry. Okay, write down. So in the slide, you can find the 5 characteristics next, right? You don't do anything with aggressive and the passive, right? You need to identify the characteristics related to assertive, right? So you can write down the characteristics, then write down when it comes to each characteristic what we can expect from an assertive person. You need to find the characteristics. It's not a compulsory thing to write down these characteristics related to aggressive and passive because it's included in the slide. Like I the unknown, but write down the characteristics related to assertive, right? Let me show you the slide. That is their communication style. What is like how they express their emotions, right? Let me check how you all are approaching this. What is self-advocacy? Self-advocacy. Without knowing meaning of self-advocacy, then you cannot write down the characteristic relevant for the assertiveness. Self-advocacy in the sense with speaking up for ourselves. අපි වෙනුවෙන් අපි කතා කරන එක තමා වෙනුවෙන් තමා කතා කරන එක. Self-advocacy.
Non-confrontation. When they are direct.
An example would be, pay attention for the first one. With the last row, boys. For the first characteristic, it's communication style. For the aggressive, it's for the passive, it's indirect, non-confrontational. Confrontational in the sense that right? When it comes to the aggressive behavior, direct, confrontational. So then assertive buddhe, it's direct but non-confrontational. For the passive, it's indirect, non-confrontational. Aggressive, direct, confrontational. Assertive, direct but non-confrontational. Something like that. අරකට කරපු එකම අනිත් එකට කරපු එකට කියලා උදේට කරපු එකම වගේ පස්සේ තුනේ ලියනවා. Is there anyone finish this? Let me check that one. I can read up Yes, the second one is express calmly and confidently. Then self-advocacy high level. Respect to others, respect for needs and others. The last one, handle conflicts calmly and find solutions. I can manage with that. Correct. It's like correct. Clear with that? Okay. For the first one, it's direct, non-confrontational. Then for the second one, emotional expression. In passive, suppressed feelings and quiet. Aggressive behavior, intense and loud feelings. So what you have written for the assertive? Clear and respectful. Correct. Is there any other answer for that? Balancing their feelings as well as to they may open. Right? Openly and calm. In a calm way, they express their thoughts with it. Calm, right? Open. Even if you have included, then it's correct with it. Right? Openly expressing their feelings and calm expressions. යන්න ඕන දේ කියන පොඩ්ඩක්වත් emotion change කරන්න නෑ පුතේ. Right? හිත යටින් කේන්තියෙන් ඉන්නවා වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. But still managing the emotions. Right? For the assertive feelingness, for the emotional expression, write down, open and expressing thoughts in a calm way. Right? Basically, they use a calm tone with it. Then, for the self-advocacy, for the passive behavior, it's lack of self-advocacy. Aggressive behavior, high level of self-advocacy. For the assertive, what you have written? It's with the sometimes someone may argue like it's moderate, but it's moderate to high. Right? Self-advocacy is, in most of the cases, if we consider a person who is showing the assertive communication, their self-advocacy is high. Right? Then respect for others, it's easy, right? They actively listen and respect to others' opinions. Actively listening and respecting to others' opinions. Since they have highlighted others' needs. You can say acknowledging others' needs, right? Respecting to others and acknowledging others' needs. අනිත් අයගේ needs තියනවා කියන එක acknowledge කරගන්නවා. If it is feasible, then accommodating, right? Considering others' needs, acknowledging others' needs, right? Then the final one, conflict resolution. Passive behavior, they avoid conflicts. Aggressive behavior, escalates conflicts. ප්‍රශ්න වැඩි කරගන්නවා. Assertive behavior පුතේ, resolve conflicts. Resolve conflicts. Right? Okay, let me explain next slide, then I will give you the break. For the last one, they resolve conflicts, right? Aggressive behavior escalate conflicts, then the assertive behavior resolve conflicts. No, you all can take the break with it, then I will discuss emotional intelligence after the break. Some also can take the break. I will discuss emotional intelligence. Right, okay, Bude. So, there's something called emotional intelligence, right? Do you know the meaning of emotional intelligence? You know about artificial intelligence, but you don't know about emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence. Very good, Vijay. One part of emotional intelligence is that. Right, good. Emotional intelligence in the sense, it's like when it comes to this concept, we have to focus on two areas, two aspects. One is if a person has a good level of emotional intelligence, that means to say that person can understand others' emotions, right? Same time, he or she has to understand his or her own emotions and he or she has to control their emotions, right? Understanding other emotions and understanding own emotions and controlling our own emotions coming under this emotional intelligence, right? So then, this is also put there as becoming assertive, right? This emotional intelligence also really important for the leader, right? So you all are now working, but the most of you all are working, right? There can be very good individuals, very good people, right? But they are becoming aggressive. I mean, like very quickly, they are becoming aggressive, right? But if we consider their qualities, they are so good. But when they're becoming aggressive and when they're saying different things to others, then the others develop a negative perception regarding them, even though that particular person is really good person, right? Because all of us are like human beings, right? So when it comes to this leadership, it's a social process, but like we are in a social process, right? We have to work with different people, right? So then, if you want to become a successful leader, you need to increase your emotional intelligence level also, right? Believe me, Bude, like one day you all will realize this, right? You all are focusing on increasing your communication skills, right? Decision making skills, problem solving skills. Same time, Bude, you need to take necessary actions to enhance your emotional intelligence also, right? It's not easy with it when you are like reaching highest positions, right? You all have to handle multiple tasks and you all need to perform multiple roles, right? So I don't like to use the term busy and the stress. There's nothing called busy. It's just a matter of prioritizing tasks, right? So when people are in such a condition, such a situation today, so as human beings, we have to accept, yes, they may become aggressive, but still put it, right? It's not acceptable. Even though we are becoming aggressive, we have to control our emotions because we are dealing with people, right? They also have emotions. Right? අපි කොච්චර කේන්ති ගියත් අපි ඒක එක්ස්ප්‍රස් කරන්න ගියොත් අපි ඒක පෙන්වන්න ගියොත් එතනින් තව කෙනෙක්ගේ හිතට දෙන්න පුළුවන් සහ like we are working in an organization, right? So then there can be lots of negative consequences from not controlling our emotions. Okay, so if you want to reach highest positions in your organization or in this corporate sector, you need to have a good emotional intelligence, right? You need to control your emotions. You need to regulate your emotions. Right? And sometimes strategically, there can be like when it comes to the practical scenario, right? So there can be some situations up to some level we need to show our emotions, right? But still we need to recognize and control emotions. Read this. Read and see whether you all can understand about emotional intelligence. I have given you an explanation and you can find some more information from the slide also. It says emotional intelligence, often referred to as emotional, like we can pronounce it in different ways with it, quotient or the coordinates, like we can pronounce in different way, is the ability to recognize, understand, manage, and influence emotions in his or herself and others. EI, emotional intelligence, has gained significant attention in both personal and professional contexts as it plays a crucial role in effective communication, leadership, and interpersonal relationships. In management projects, we consider, right, this emotional intelligence as a contemporary concern. Right? We consider emotional intelligence as a contemporary concerns in management practices. Right? So again, I'm highlighting because some of you all have joined now, joined in the sense you all came now, but I have highlighted for them. If you have a dream, right? If you have a target to reach highest positions in the organizational hierarchy for that, you need to maintain this emotional intelligence. You need to have a good emotional intelligence, right? You need to regulate your emotions. You need to understand others' emotions, right? සමහර වෙලාවල් එනවා උපරිමයටම කේන්ති යනවා, but still you cannot show them, right? You have to like control it, because otherwise there can be lots of repercussions and results can be really unfavorable for you. Right? එනිසා පුළුවන් තරම් මොකද emotions පෙන්වනවා කියලා වැඩක් නෑ පුතේ. ඒක ඔයාට අයිති දෙයක්, just control value. But when we analyze the practical scenario, practical context, there can be some situations where we need to show our emotions also. Right? සමහර වෙලාවට තියෙනවා අපි වැඩ කරන corporate sector කියන්නේ. ඒක සමහර තැන් එනවා, සමහර තැන් in order to influence some situations, some individuals with it, there can be some situations we need to show our emotions up to some level, but still we need to control it, right? Especially in decision making, especially when it comes to board meetings, right? In order to emphasize, in order to justify, and in order to take the acceptance, there can be certain instances where we need to show the emotions. At the කතාව කියන්නේ බෑ. කියන්නේ කොච්චර කිව්වත් emotions control කරන්න ඕනේ කියන එක. When it comes to the organizational platform, there can be certain situations where we need to show our emotions up to some level, but still control. Still we have to control it, right? Okay. So, write down this question for them. Write down this question. This is also a possible question in the examination paper. Write down this. Write down a subtopic with emotional intelligence. Before writing the question, write down a subtopic, emotional intelligence. Under that, write down. It is the ability to understand others' emotions understand own emotions and taking necessary actions to control own emotions. Control own emotions, right? Then now write down this question. explain the role of emotional intelligence. Explain the role of emotional intelligence in the process of becoming assertive. The process of becoming assertive. Right? But it asks for that. Here you all have to explain the relationship between emotional intelligence and the assertiveness. Right? If a person has a good level of emotional intelligence for that, then it is a favorable factor towards becoming an assertive person. Right? In assertiveness also, what we highlight, so if we want to be an assertive person, we need to confidently and openly communicate our opinions, but same time we need to respect to others' point of views. We cannot become aggressive. Right? We cannot become aggressive. We have to actively listen to others and we need to respect for their opinion, but still very firmly, we have to share our opinions, right? If we want to be a such person, if you want to follow such a communication style with it, we need to have a good emotional intelligence, right? Because till we understand others' emotions, right? We don't respect to others' opinions with them. If we can understand others' emotions, right, inner emotions, then we try to listen to them and we try to respect for their ideas, right? Again, කොච්චර කරත් පුතේ අපිට අනිත් කෙනෙකුගේ ඉමෝෂන් තේරෙන්නේ නැත්නම් අපි සමහර වෙලාවට ඒ අවස්ථාවලදී තව කෙනෙක්ගේ අදහස් වලට අහුම්කම් දෙන්නේ නැහැ because we cannot understand the importance of that particular person's idea, right? So that idea can be a very silly idea, but like no point of like even listen to such an idea, right? But still, we need to respect for them today. They are sharing their ideas, right? ඒක ඒගොල්ලෝ මත ඒගොල්ලෝ කියන අදහස. අපිට හුඟක් දෙන්න සිද්ධ වෙනවා. right? කොච්චර වැලින් නැති වුණත් හිතෙනවා මාර මොන අදහසක්. But still could they listen to them? So respect for their ideas because it's for her idea, opinion, but then critically analyze it and take a decision. Right? Okay. For the examination, this type of question can be tested. For 6 marks assigned question, right? Average 6 marks assigned question can be tested. Here you can find the importance or the benefits of emotional intelligence, right? These few points for these benefits again can be tested, right? These are the benefits of emotional intelligence. When we have a proper emotional intelligence level, right? It supports us to improve relationships because we can understand others' emotions. We control our emotions. So then we don't disrespect to others, right? So then it supports us to maintain better relationships. It supports us to maintain better leadership, as well as when we can control emotions, right? Definitely we can manage our stress level. And it supports us to resolve the conflicts also in an effective way. Right? Write down this right number. You don't need to write down all the points. Right? Write down this right number and put a remark for the examination can be tested. Right? Write down the right number This is slide number 25. These benefits of emotional intelligence can be tested. Right? Okay, but we are now coming to the last area of the chapter. After that, we can do a small activity. It's a group activity, right? So here, let me show you the slide. The title is Build Arguments, Base, Evidence, and Rationale. Right? That's the reason of adding this slide under becoming assertive or the assertiveness put it, basically becoming assertive. The reason is how we have defined assertiveness. First, get familiar with the title. It says the title is Build Arguments based on it. That's a mistake with it. Based on evidence and rationale. Right? So what it says is when we are building an argument, it should be based on some evidences plus there should be a rationale. Right? Then what I'm trying to say is there's a relationship between this area and the assertiveness. Right? How we have defined becoming assertive or assertiveness for the how we have defined assertiveness? It's an ability to confidently and openly express own opinions, ideas, thoughts, while respecting to others' opinions or the point of views. Right? The thing is for that, there's another thing also for that, like we may express our opinions, thoughts very confidently and very openly, but we assume others do not agree with our arguments. Right? They don't agree with our opinions. Then with this, still no point of becoming an assertive person. Right? The thing is, yes, we have to confidently, openly, we have to express our opinion. Right? We need to respect others' point of views also. Same time, Pute, others also should accept our ideas. They have to agree with our ideas. That's why others are not agreeing with our ideas. Right? In order to take the maximum from being an assertive person, Pute, when we are like sharing, expressing an opinion, right? We need to rationalize it, right? We need to build our argument based on facts and figures. Then others also will accept it, right? That is there. So this slide explains how we can build arguments, our opinions based on facts or the like based on the way that we can rationalize. First one is, but it's a process. Here, you all cannot write down like 2 or 3 points. It's a process for that. In the examination also, if I'm asking this, you all need to write down all these steps, right? Simply it's explaining. If I want to express an opinion for this, if I want to express an argument, if I want to build an argument, right? Then I can follow this particular process. Therefore, the others will accept it, right? Read. Take 2 minutes and read the process. Clearly define the issue or question. That means with it, we are giving an opinion or an idea for a problem or a situation. Right? Then we need to have a clear idea about the problem or the situation or the particular gap. Right? මොකක්ද gap එකකට එහෙම නැත්නම් මොකකට හරි ප්‍රශ්නයකට එහෙම නැත්නම් situation එකකට අපි අපේ අදහසක් පළ කරන්නේ. So then we need to have a clear idea. We need to have a clear definition in terms of that particular problem. We need to have a clear idea, right? Then conduct thorough research, right? So before developing or building an argument, before coming to an exact opinion for that, we need to research. We need to collect information as much as possible. Right? Like a part opinion justify a part of we have to collect information as much as possible. Right? Then analyze the evidence. So from the research, we are collecting evidence as we collect facts and figures. Right? Then we need to analyze this. Then develop a thesis statement. That means with it, thesis statement in the sense kind of a problem statement. Right? That means you need to clearly show what is the exact problem that you are going to address. You need to write down. So, we'll take an example, but there's an organization, right? That organization is currently facing some issues in relation to their sales, right? So now it's in a very dangerous or a kind of critical situation, right? So now their market share has been decreased from 25% to 10%. You can see it right? The critical situation. Now today, so you have an idea regarding this, but you have some reasons. You know, due to these reasons, this is happening here. You have some opinions, some ideas in your mind. Now you need to confidently express them. You need to build an argument. Make a right? So now you are addressing that problem, right? Decrease in the market share. That is the problem that you are addressing through your argument. Okay? So then in developing the thesis statement, what you have to do, you need to clearly develop a problem statement. That means that means very simply, technically, if I tell you the problem for that example, that is, what are the reasons behind declining market share? Again, problem is clear kiyanna. ඔයාගේ argument එකෙන් ඔයා address කරන්න අන්නේ ප්‍රශ්නේ. Right? Problem statement එකෙන් වෙන්නේ ඒක. What are the reasons behind declining market share? Right? Then for that, organize your arguments. You need to nicely and very rationally organize the arguments. Then you need to support each claim with evidences, right? You need to address everything with the evidence, with the facts and figures. Then use logical reasoning. When you are building an argument, okay, you need to have this logical reasoning. Always question with them, right? Why it's happening? Or due to this reason only it is happening. When you are figuring out the reason, there should be a rationale. Logically, when you are in your professional life with it, as much as possible, use this logical reasoning. Reason karanna have a logical method. And අපි කියන්නේ මෝඩ විදියට ප්‍රශ්න කරන්න නැතුව හරිය ලොජිකල් විදියට ප්‍රශ්න කරන්න ඕනේ. ලොජික් එකක් තියෙනවා. ප්‍රශ්නය අහුවොත් මොන පැත්තකින්වත් කාටවත් කියන්න බෑ it's invalid equation. It's a valid equation. It should be a valid equation. Right? So logical reasoning is so important. Then for that, address counter arguments, that is also really important. When it comes to meetings with it, right? When you want to build an argument and when you expect others will accept it, but others are trying to ask different questions, and when they're asking questions, but they don't avoid it. Right? Don't avoid it. So for each question, you need to clearly provide answers. You can counter arguments. එකක්වත් avoid කරන්න. ඔයාට ඒගොල්ලෝ meeting වලදී කියයි ඔක කරන්න කොහොමද මේක කරන්න බෑනේ. එහෙම how it happens. Don't avoid them with it. Right? Accept the question and answer for those counter arguments. If you don't answer them, that means with it others won't accept your argument. ඔයා counter arguments මගේ අරින්න ගත්ත ගමන් තේරෙනවා ඔයා confident නැහැ ඔයාගේ argument එකත් එක්ක, then they try to, I mean, like they don't believe or they don't follow your argument, right? They don't accept your argument. Then you have to conclude it effectively and continuously put it, you need to revise and edit your argument because the environment is changing, right? Different factors are getting changed. So then based on the changes, you need to revise your argument. ඒ කියන්නේ එකම මතයකින් ඕනේ කියලා කතාවක් නෑ. ඒ මතේ ඒ වෙලාවට like based on the environmental changes, we need to update our argument, right? Write down this process with it. Like if I'm testing this question, usually I'm allocating 10 marks for this type of a question, right? This process can be tested because this is important for you when it comes to the practical context. You can make process over that practically වැදගත් දේවල්. So you don't need to write down for this. If it's the slide name, so you can mention the slide number and put a remark for the examination. In your own words, write down for the examination purpose important or something like that. Echo exam කියලා හරි ලියා ගන්න, just highlight with you. Right? So let me show you a video. Here you can see some skills or the abilities required to become an assertive person. Pay attention to the in the examination. If I'm asking you to discuss abilities or skills required to become an assertive person, you need to write down these things with it. Some of them are characteristics also. Characteristics are but still put it. These things we can consider as skills or the abilities required to become an assertive person, right? You need to have the ability to use I statement. It's a skill. It's an assertive skills, abilities, you need to maintain, right? Use I statement, maintain a calm tone in your communication, active listening, then be direct and clear in communication. Learn to say no. So in such way, like there are different skills for that. For like 4 marks, the same question also can be tested. So in that case, you don't need to like, separately write down this, but sometimes I may ask, what are the skills or the abilities required to become an assertive person? Then you all have to take some points from this slide and you need to develop the answer. These are abilities, these are skills required to become an assertive person. Right? Can be tested. Okay. So let me show you the video, then we'll do a small activity. But I have uploaded an activity to LMS, right? Log into LMS and download activity 1. You do it as a group activity, right? Log into LMS, download activity 1. Activity 1 was it? Activity, not the new activity, activity. For the shall we have some groups, U6, right? And one group with the U6, right? And put U5. U6 category. Now first read the activity. For the online students, I am doing this activity as a group activity, not an assignment. It's just an activity. So since you all are joining online, you all can individually attend on this, right? Just try to find the answer for this question. At the bottom of the scenario, you can find the question. There you have to explain the importance of assertive communication and emotional intelligence to face the above explained situation. First read and try to develop an answer for this. First read the scenario. Today I will give maximum of 10 minutes because we need to allocate time to take the attendance also. Just take 10 minutes and don't take that much of seriously. Just it's a case study and give your opinion. Right? Then you say. But there are 4 minutes remaining. Yes, but they just draft an answer, but it's no answer. Trying scan the QR code. Online students, hope all of you have the attendance. If you have any concern with it, just tell me now, then from my end, I can mark the attendance. If there are any concerns, if you have some marking the attendance, just tell me now. So then I assume there is not any problem, so I can show them QR code. Yes, good day. Can I see the answers? Then I can do this one. Say one piece, okay? You're right. That's fine, but tell what you have written, right? That's fine, but that's fine. You have written something? How would you want it? What do we got here? Doctor handwriting, okay? Let me check with it. Yes, but then can I go? Can I have the answer with it? Take example from the case. Right, okay for this. So then, be silent for this. So you all need to maintain discipline. You all can be in a very, relaxed way, right? You don't need to be in a very strict or a kind of, how could I say, right? But still you all need to maintain discipline, right? So with this I will wind up the session for today. So with this, we are completing chapter number 1 also. Next week, it will be an online session. There we discuss chapter number 2, right? So if you have any concern, any problem, just directly contact me. So I will try to give you the solutions for the problems. So past the schedule also, but I have discussed the schedule for the upcoming sessions, right? Yeah, with all the exception students, and if they have any concern, just take their concern and pass it to me, right? Okay. So then, thank you, Buddha. See you all next Sunday through online. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
I'm